Welcome to High Oracle's Reiki Spiritual Healing Channel. And if I look a little tired, because I am, I have been shopping. I have got me some chicken wings. And I like, my chicken wings because it has the bone in it. That boneless breast or whatever that is. It's a little bit tough. So I like my chicken wings with the bone. And I'm going to make some Jamaican jerk chicken wings. And I'm going to have some rice and peas with that. So, that's what we're having today. And I'm going to when I get finished with this, I'm going to start cooking. So I understand that it's a lot of things that's going on. And I got to let you know what I have been experiencing for the last couple of days now. And this is the download that I'm getting, from my premonitions. And I keep getting these downloads. And like I say, they just keep coming and I can't stop them. And so I just wanted to share them with you. It is a lot of these narcissist people who are in secret societies. These secret societies that they want to overcharge the women, especially if they do not have a man in their life. So, I have gone all of this week, I have just been recognizing what this download was. And I keep seeing it, in my mind, in my dreams, in visions. And it keeps showing up that, after you have entered into an agreement, especially when there are males that are the head of this agreement, that they have specific skills and knowledge. Okay, you paid your dues, you paid what you were supposed to pay, what they say that the amount is, and then when you're calling them out on things that are not right, then they want to send you back, to go behind them to fix their mistakes. And this is what a lot of secret societies of the males in this society has told the males to do, to overcharge us. There is a ladybug on my window. I was trying to get it to come in here. Just come on in, Mr. Ladybug. But and I'm always attracting ladybugs, and you guys know that. I have them all over my posts. But one of the understandings that we're having here is that, like I said, I was doing business with the men who had specific knowledge of, how to do certain things on the internet. And I had to tell them 2 or 3 times, this is not the right way. I used to be in management. When we did a promotion, when we were doing a promotion or we were running ads, then we would run them for 1 week. And then at, another time in the week, they wouldn't come out 2 or 3 days behind each other. They wouldn't come out back to back. So, a lot of these types of narcissists are in business and they are against, women. Then I had one of the men, I had one of them say, well, can you show me a picture of it? And I had to ask them, why am I doing your job after I've done my due diligence? And I have, been upright and I have paid what I'm supposed to pay. Why would I do that? Okay. Now, and then there was, this has been going since last week and it's been playing out in my mind, guys. I'm not, I'm not making this up. So then I spent $1,000, on my car. I got an oil change. I got some headlamps. Because one of my headlamps was bad, and I got my brakes and my rotors changed. So, it wasn't about the price because I had a lot of work done, but, when I came back, because one of the lights went out again, And it seemed that when he gave me the light, that it was already broken, and he gave me the light and he told me that I needed to go to AutoZone and get the light, and then when he come back I would put it in, when he just could have did that, the first time. So, this is how these people want to delay you. How these people in these secret societies has fashioned, designed these types of narcissists who are attacking your time, who want to delay you, who are upset with you because you have a female. And I forgot about this particular male that he wants to talk to a male in my family, and I'm dealing with him. I've been dealing with him this entire time, but he wants to talk to a male, and that means that he's going to override me, and the male could, my brother or, somebody in my family, my uncle, could talk to him better than what I'm telling him about my situation. So, I will be so glad when people understand that women can see farther than their nose. I will be so glad when the understanding for these types of narcissists, they're losing business. And this is what we have to do. We have to make sure that we're going other places. We have to make sure that we have other options, and this is what they will try to do, and hold you hostage with these types of prices. They will try to hold you hostage with their behavior, because they have certain knowledge, especially mechanics. So, this is a part of that download that I had been getting, that they are, trying to siphon the mental energy of women. And I wanted to give you this specific type of understanding, that the men who are the fathers, who are the brothers, who have specific knowledge, who we have been raised around, and a lot of us know better. A lot of us are able to stand on our own. A lot of us have been around the men. We can, do our own oil. I can change my own tire. I choose not to, because that's a lot of work to get those lug nuts off of there. So, I just wanted to make sure that you understand that for the men, you will have to watch these men who are narcissists. If you have daughters, you will have to, make sure that they're telling them the truth, that, you have to call your power back and say, I'm not going to deal with your business. I don't want to deal with you as a person. You're fired because, you suck as a human being. And, just like I say, I once you make the example, on one occasion, then, there's no coming back when you have, your boss that acts the same way, that gets on, that gets in the face of someone, that not understanding that they know who you are. You're operating under demonic energy. You're operating under, a behavior that is unbecoming a person that is in authority. And I'm going to put it that way because that's the nicest way. That is the most professionalist way that I can put it. So at this point, even if I wanted to recommend someone to these two companies, it would be very hard for me to do so, even though they did great work. They do good work. And, as a female, I'm supposed to overlook this. And this is what they're telling your mothers, your grandmothers, your daughters, when you buy them their first car. This is what is happening, that they're trying to take advantage of them. A lot of these, men, they want to overcharge them when they cannot overcharge them, and let's make sure that I make this specific as well, because, one of the persons, the original person that I went to when I first arrived here, he's going to tell me that there's something wrong with my engine. And I had to tell him he's a liar, because I just had this engine, dropped in this particular car in 2024. So, this is what we're going to have to contend with, or, we're going to have to make sure that we're opening our own businesses, ladies, and we're going to put, the people in there that we want. This is what we are having to deal with. This is what our daughters are going to have to deal with, because these narcissists, they are in alignment, and other men who are not even, maybe not narcissists, they fall in line with this type of behavior because of their greed. So this is why I wanted to bring this to your attention. Like I said, and we've been talking about this, all week long, the greed, from certain types of, demonic entities, the behavior and other entities that's associated with these types of demonic entities that are attached to people. And like I say, this is a male-driven society. This is why you're having, a lot less money in your pocket, because these people are siphoning your financial energy, and this is what they have been trained to do through these secret societies. These women who want to keep them, in power, are a part of these secret societies, and also a part of the behavior as mothers who do not train their sons to do better, who do not train the sons to have respect for people's money. And this is what we're seeing with a lot of these men when they are in business. If they cannot make you suffer, if you do not have a male available, because this is a male-driven society, then they will try to, harm you financially. They will try to harm you, in society. And they will try to be greedy, in the business dealing. So this is what, my message is for you today. You have to be careful. You can see the red flags when you have to go over things 2 or 3 times and say the same thing to a person, then they're not trying to hear you. When you have to go over behind a person and do their job for them to correct situations, then they're not trying to, hear what you're saying. They're trying to, do the less as possible, just as they would do if they were in the home pretending that they were chosen one men, that they are not led by God at all. And I hope that you have received this message. So please like, share, and subscribe to me. You can book your consultations so that I can acclimate a gift to your situation. If your finances are being siphoned, or your energy is being siphoned by an energy vampire, please like, share, and subscribe. Again, I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum.